Hello, critical thinkers. We're going to learn how to do a logic problem. If you've never done one of these, they are kind of fun. A logic problem is a chart or a table that sets up all the possible solutions to a given scenario. And then they give you clues, and you have to decipher from the clues which ones are true and which ones are false. Of the clues, who did what? Right? And this is a very simple logic problem. We're just matching one attribute. And what we're doing is we're matching the person that did the voting with the person that they voted for. So let's look at our scenario. You're always given a scenario first, and there's information in the scenario. So don't gloss over that. It has your rules and what's going to happen. And then we have our clues here, and that's going to help us decipher who voted for who. So Agnes, Betsy, Cornelius, and Dexter each voted for a different person for class president. That's important. They each voted for a different person for class president. So no two people voted for the same guy. Read the clues to find out who each student voted for. All right, so let's read this. The boy who voted for McGuire is older than the person who voted for Sterling and is younger than Dexter. Okay, so there's two people being mentioned here. Well, really three people. The subject is the boy who voted for McGuire. Okay, that's our subject. And he is older than the person who voted for Sterling. So we're talking about the boy who voted for Dexter being older than the person who voted for Sterling. And the boy who voted for McGuire is also younger than Dexter. So we're also talking about the fact that he is younger than Dexter. So this is a person, this is a person, and this is a person. There's three different people in this conversation. So we know that the person who voted for McGuire and the person who voted for Sterling was not Dexter. And we know it was a boy who voted for McGuire. So the boy who voted for McGuire, that tells us that Agnes and Betty did not vote for McGuire because it was a boy who voted for McGuire. And we also know that the person who voted for McGuire was not Dexter, because we're talking about three different people, okay? So that leaves us Cornelius as the only possible solution here, because that was the only possible square left. So we know that Cornelius didn't vote for Grant, he didn't vote for Hugh, and he didn't vote for Sterling. He voted for McGuire. So that's who this is. So this is Cornelius. And sometimes I like to write the name of the person once it's clear. That way it helps me keep my facts straight. Okay, so now let's look at the next line. The person who voted for Hugh, so that's one person, is taller than Betsy and the person who voted for Grant. This is a compound direct object. Yes, compound direct object. So that means we're talking about two different people. And if you include the subject, then that's three different people. So that Betsy is one of those three people. Betsy didn't vote for Hugh, okay? Because the person who voted for Hugh is taller than Betsy. So they can't be the same person. And the person who voted for Hugh is also taller than the person who voted for Grant. So Betsy and the person who voted for Grant are two different people. So Betsy couldn't have voted for Grant either. So that means she voted for Sterling because that's the only square, the only possible option left. And because she voted for Sterling, nobody else voted for Sterling either. So we cross out those options. Once you get a circle or a dot that says this is the true statement, all others are false. Everything in the row and everything in the column can be marked off. So now we have that Agnes either voted for Grant or Hugh, or Dexter either voted for Grant or Hugh. So let's look at our very last clue. Agnes didn't vote for Hugh. Okay, pretty straightforward. Agnes didn't vote for Hugh, so she must have voted for Grant, which means that Dexter didn't vote for Grant, which means that Dexter did vote for Hugh. Now we know that Agnes voted for Grant, Betsy voted for Sterling, Cornelius voted for McGuire, and Dexter voted for Hugh. And now you know how to do a logic problem.